fucking up, as I wrote it down and I read it, I was like, what the fuck am I talking about? like Dylan during his Blonde on Blonde thing, it's like, what the fuck are you going on about? It's good, but I don't understand a word. I can find it. There we go. Don't count it down to recreational drug use either, that's a cop-out. Be a bit more imaginative if you have ideas. Right, Twisted Airwaves. Tuxedo Junction, Dukes of Function aiming for the stratosphere, junkie tricksters on velocity mixtures cruising on speedster gear, standing in the rain for a handout, speeding towards the grave, sentimental preachers fully functional dreamers, all hooked to the Twisted Airwaves. Sideways anarchists with cemetery shtick, hoping to be best in show. Bellevue prankster with the Junko partners, hoping for a line to tow. Waiting in the atmosphere for direction on the Star Kings mixtape. Failures of triumph, no cure for love, just hooked to the Twisted Airwaves. Battled with a wooden sword, insides made of straw. Death smiles sweetly, eating with a plastic spoon under the pinball moon while pigs fly freely. Sultans of swing with war paint, hoping for money to save. Lightning struck itself, dead men have no tales to tell within the vibrations of the Twisted Airwaves. Wayward bards in the funky boulevard, willing for their roads to perish. Schizo superheroes on pirate video, lumbered with a foot fetish. In the afterthought of someone's nightmare, circling on a mighty phase. Gumby politicians and sleepy physicians, all humming to the Twisted Airwaves. Trampoline philosophers and fugazi imposters, hooked on a dirty lust. Playground hellraisers and bad bike chasers, aching to cause a fuss. String ensemble bureaucrats on a laser tag, waiting for a friend to betray. Stone temple navigators, kitchen sink gladiators, dancing to the Twisted Airwaves. Fright night speedsters on China white, crash land with disarray. Laboratory rats in penthouse flats, mixing with the feline strays. Trombone pilots moving with a slow burn, wasting time away. Tin pan martyrs, bums of the Dharma, waiting to signal the Twisted Airwaves. Thank you. So ever since my birthday, everything's gone to shit, so that's bad. This is called Bad News. Bad news on the front page, bad news on my welcome mat, bad news, a voice of rage, bad news and that is that. Bad news in the bed sheets, bad news down the hall, bad news in the heat, bad news across the floor. Bad news, no exit without permission, bad news screaming under your breath, bad news travelling fast, bad news just like your health. Bad news loud enough to wake the living, bad news strutting on the mild side, bad news nothing worth taking, bad news corrupting all of our lives. Bad news, there's nothing you can do. Bad news, another cheap thrill. Bad news coming for you. Bad news, out for the kill. Bad news, just the way I like it. Bad news, nothing ever fucking works. Bad news, everything is broken. Bad news, it's the punchline to the ultimate joke. Bad news, happy for a while. Bad news, nothing remains. Bad news, ton of bile. Bad news, down the drain. Bad news, nothing has changed. Bad news, nothing is the same. Bad news, sick and deranged. Bad news, everything is fair game. Bad news, I can't forget. Bad news, I won't remember. Bad news, loaded and set. Bad news is forever and ever. Bad news wherever you go. Bad news, the daily topic. Bad news affecting all that you know. Bad news on the healthy and sick. Bad news, somebody won't be coming back. Bad news, unable to get by in time. Bad news, another violent attack. Bad news, someone's bad luck is mine. Bad news, another angel soul. Bad news, another curse is bought. Bad news, no chance of getting home. Bad news, another escapee is caught. Bad news revolving round my head. Bad news, nothing left to say. Bad news, the stall's daily bread. Bad news catches you just like yesterday. Thank you. Yeah, this is a red sun. Well, last week when the sky turned yellow. Yeah, I was still half stoned in the morning when I got up. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I honestly thought I was off it. And I had work, I was just like, oh, this is great. It's like red sun. The church bells were sold for scrap, wayward sailors unable to chart the maps that lead to souls littered with traps the day that the sun bled. Apocalypse of 1,000 nights, blinded by the city of lights, overcome with dust and delayed flights the day the sun bled. Orange dawn that seemed to burn through the morn until the afternoon that led the blind filled with scorn, the day the sun bled. In the dream of a fierce device, sepia gleaming cloudless skies, in Mediterranean meteorological blight, the day the sun bled. Prayers are declared for the end of the world, for those who dared to buy time down the road, with subterranean witless odes, the day the sun bled. White light vision under herbal sheen, bold precision spotlighting the scene, with desert sky immaculate and serene, the day the sun bled. Life within the particle accelerator, threats of lightning and inclement weather, a fiercer storm that is set to chain us together, the day the sun bled. Lunar sightings blocked by a typhoon, the stars align for no want of view, no dark clouds and no skies of blue, the day the sun bled. In the marketplace hurricane, wayward laureates board the train, Sahara sand corroding the brain, the day the sun bled. A yellow stain under northern sky against the grain, marching snowblind, fire from above, no sign of night, the day the sun bled. Thank you.